One and done Buffalo Sabres edition. We've had some interesting highs, some interesting lows in this series thus far, and I can't help but think that with the Sabres, it is going to be towards one end of the spectrum or the other with no middle ground. Either this is going to be horrific, or we could just go all the way. This is the team that we're starting off with. Of course, this head coach right now, as per usual, not a perfect fit for the team, which as a result, our top line is Okposo, Reinhart, Johansson. Second line of Olofsson, Eichel, and Skinner. Third line, Simmons, Cahoon, Frolik, VC, Larson, and Sobotka make up the fourth line as it stands. So, quite obviously, considering I don't change the head coach, we could really use some changes here desperately. And again, we are limited to just 3 trades per team. We'll see what happens here, but I think a new center where we could move Reinhart over and then put Okposo down on the third line would be more than welcome, but time will tell what options are available to us. Defensively, it's Montour, McCabe, Ristolainen, Dahlin, Miller, and Jokiharju. So the big thing that we're going to be testing out here through the opening few months of the season is how well this team can get on without their top players being in the top roles, still in ideal roles, though. Goaltenders, of course, it is Carter Hutton and Linus Ullmark. Healthy scratches, Matt Hunwick and Zemgus Girgensons to start. So, down in the AHL, we do have the likes of Casey Middlestat for forwards. Defensively, it's a bit rough. Rebuilding Hockeytown legend Matt Spencer's there. And, of course, down in the WHL, we have Dylan Cousins, which could be a decent little piece that we end up having to use here. But again, as you know, it is finding the right move at the right time for this team. And as you get a look here at the trade value, and the cap space wise, we got $6.5 million available, which is nice. Trade value wise, when it comes to forwards, I mean, Dylan Cousins is the one to use. Obviously, wouldn't do that if we were doing this beyond more than one season, but Cousins and Middlestat could be used. I'd expect to see Marcus Davidson traded, Mathieu Picard as well. Defensively, I don't know. Mattias Samuelsson, Ryan Johnson, those are our best 2 options. Goaltending-wise, Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen could be used as well. And, of course, when it comes to the draft picks, they're a little bit out of date, but we do have, of course, our first-rounders at play. Next year's first-round pick has a lot of value right out of the gates, which is pretty nice. I do wonder how much that's going to drop by throughout the season. So with that, we're going to be able to do what we always do at the start of one of these episodes. I want to sim a month or 2, maybe even 3 into the season. We'll see how the team does based off of how they are currently set up, and we'll make adjustments from there rather than just presuming that we know what exactly is going to go wrong with this team, which is a dangerous game. Again, limited to 3 trades. We make a move before the season even starts, and it backfires. We can't scramble out of that. We have an 87 offense, an 89 defense, 78 in goaltending. It's it could be better. That defense, I mean, it's a pretty well-rounded defense, to be honest, for this Sabres team. I mean, if we make a move there, it'll be 1 or 2, I would presume, at the most. So what we're going to do, we're going to sim to December 1st, because that opening month, October, typically doesn't give us enough games to really know if that's going to be, what the team looks like at that point in time. You never want to judge too early at this stage, so we won't. We'll sim ahead here and see how it goes. Not the best start in the world, but hardly the worst. I mean, Detroit's won 1 out of the first 8, but they could very, very well see kind of what happens in terms of, turning it around. I wouldn't be surprised if they made the playoffs. Franchise mode is kind of crazy, so we'll continue to see what happens here. Again, not the best record to start, but I am very intrigued to see what the individual stats will look like come December 1st. We've lost 3 out of 4 games, though, to start the month of November. The more we lose, the more likely it is we're going to have to hit that panic button as of December 1st. 3 wins in a row, though, to counterbalance that. Like I said, this team, anything but predictable, I would say. You see how the AI handles a Sabres team, and so often they end up being fantastic. I've seen the Sabres win the Cup in Season 1 or make the final plenty of times. So Wouldn't be surprised to see it happen again. But we sit at 12, 12, and 3 as of December 1st. Approaching the, really just over the quarter-way mark of the season. Actually, a little bit over that. Marcus Johansson leading this team in points. 26 points in 27 games. Let's take a look at what we have here. So Kyle Okposo, very impressive. 23 points in 27 games. Sam Reinhart, minus player, but 24 points is pretty solid. And then again, Marcus Johansson with the 26 points. So I'm pretty happy with that top line. Second line, Victor Olofsson, very good. 22 points. 25 points for Eichel. 21 for Skinner. I'm very happy with that top 6 so far. Third line, Wayne Simmons, 15 points. Solid. 10 for Cahoon. That's okay. Michael Frolik with 12. Pretty good. And the fourth line, Jimmy Vesey with 4. 7 for Larson. And 7 for Vladimir Sobotka. Interesting. I don't think we really have to make any panic changes just yet. Montour, 12 points, minus 3. McCabe was 6. Okay, that top pairing isn't working out too well. Risto and Dahlin have been solid. And then Miller, Jokiharju have been fine. Okay, goaltending. Ooh, Carter Hutton. Carter Hutton. That's a problem. That's a big problem. I see some positives with this team. I'm going to sim until January. But that could be where we kind of pull the chute here and say, okay, at the very least, Carter Hutton might have to go. It really does depend on numbers. We're right there in the playoff mix. See, Detroit, by the way, closing in on a wild card spot. Detroit has a bigger point total than we have, so there you go. But we'll see how this month goes. I mean, right now, not a great start. We need some wins here this week, and we do start off the week by beating Toronto and Philadelphia 7-5. And there we go, 3 straight wins. We can't make it 4, but we are right there in the mix. 2 games left this month against Boston and Tampa, division rivals, of course, and we won both of them. So we are right there in the playoff hunt with this roster that we have been given. Jack Eichel leading this team in points. We have hit the exact halfway point, 41 games into the season. And let's see what we have here. So Kyle Okposo slowed down a lot. 28 points in 41 games. That's not good enough. Reinhart with 34. It's a bit better, but not good enough. And Marcus Johansson with 37. That's a little bit better. Second line, Victor Olofsson, 34 points. I'm pretty happy with that. Eichel's been great, of course. Skinner's been okay. He has 19 goals already. So, as expected, we need an addition for that top line. It's nice to have the +5, but we need somebody better. I know in theory it's, well, you have Eichel, but obviously that +5 is huge. Third line, very good point total for Wayne Simmons. Solid point total for Cahoon. Solid point total for Frolik. Then fourth line, Vesey's gotten better. Larson's gotten better. It's just the fact that Kyle Okposo isn't exactly the fit that we need him to be, or isn't exactly producing like we need him to produce. Montour with 27 points. That's fantastic. 8 from McCabe. I mean, defensively, we're looking strong. That's not that surprising. What about the goaltending? Carter Hutton's off of this team. That's the big thing right now, is finding somebody who fits this top line. Probably looking to move out Okposo. He's been okay. He's been good, but he hasn't been great and is unsurprisingly not performing like a top line winger. So, let's see what we have here. First and foremost, is there a goaltender on the block who fits the bill of what we need? Yaroslav Halak. Holy God. I mean, Yaro might be the guy for us here. And he's cheap, too, because of his age. Right now, Halak's looking like the guy. Pablo Francouz. Yikes. I mean, if we wanted a super cheap option, where it's certainly a prove-it deal, he'd be the guy to get. But right now, I mean, $10 million worth of Sergei Bobrovsky, no thanks. Right now, it's looking like it's going to be Yaroslav Halak. Jake Allen is up there for Montreal. He's played 19 games. Hasn't been that great. Of course, Kincaid's down in the minors. New Jersey with nobody, of course. The Islanders, the Rangers shopping Georgiev. Has a 920, but for the Hartford Wolfpack. Philadelphia not moving anybody. Pitt not moving anybody. I think it's going to be Yaroslav Halak. Curtis McElhinney? Nope. I think it's going to be Yarrow. Jack Campbell's been pretty good, but I think, too, the move... Hello, Marc-Andre Fleury, though. Whew. That would be a risk. We either go for the safe bet in Halak, or we try a big damn deal here for Marc-Andre Fleury. Unfortunately, they're not shopping anybody else I'd want. They're moving Peyton Krebs. Who are the Bruins moving? Or Hovakanainen, who doesn't fit either. I never feel good about acquiring a higher overall goalie because how often does it work out? However, I think I have interest in acquiring one Marc-Andre Fleury. We'll pick up Dylan Ferguson in this deal to offset. It's obviously not going to go through. It went through. Okay. Marc-Andre Fleury. I could have gotten some draft picks back, but we have first rounders to move. We're going to see if Marc-Andre Fleury is the answer in net alongside Linus Ullmark. And if Flower's not the answer, then we're going to roll with Ullmark and just move Flower for help elsewhere. But we're going to give Marc-Andre Fleury an opportunity to succeed here in Buffalo. So congrats to Robin Leonard being the guy in Vegas now full-time. I can't wait for someone to Photoshop a sword going through my chest. It's going to be a good time. Take a look here. Wow, Josh Manson, huh? A really solid defensive and physical defenseman. Doesn't really fit the bill for what we need, though. Again, right now, I trust that defense. I just need a solid top-line option who is a clear can't-miss over Kyle Okposo. Excuse the squeaky chair if you can hear it, but again, it's not my chair, it's the girlfriend's chair, and it's a squeaky-ass chair. I mean, I guess all chairs are ass chairs because that's besides the point. Shea Weber Petrie, I learned my lesson there. Thomas Tatar does not fit the team. Matt Duchene, I don't think I've ever seen Duchene on the block. Ooh! Oh, talk about a center we could use and moving Reinhardt over to the wing. Matt Duchene is available. Craig Smith fits the bottom six. Bonino fits the team too. Ooh. Now, obviously, Duchene's expensive as hell. But I think we might be working out a... Ooh, but the Islanders, hold on. Ooh, Josh Bailey fits the top line too. As does Jordan Eberle. Nicoletti, Derek Brassard fits the bottom six. Islanders and Preds. Two very interesting teams right now for the Sabres to negotiate with. Bozak, Steen, Bouwmeester, Taylor Radish, Rasmus Sandin, Edler, Myers, Tanev, Ben Erickson. Again, I don't really feel the need to get any defense in Washington and Winnipeg. So, if we look at our team again, because there were player options available for basically every single line. Let's take a look at whether or not there's an upgrade that's necessary, right? Simmer's doing well. I mean, Simmons is on a 48-point pace. Dominic Cahoon's on a 34-point pace, which is very good. And obviously, Michael Frolik on a 38-point pace. I have no complaints at all with that third line, aside from the fact that there's no chemistry and no one's going to be a perfect fit on that fourth line. VC, 18-point pace isn't too bad. You obviously have the slightly better 11-point pace, or 11-point pace right now, on 11 points, a 22-point pace for Larson, and a Saboka just on 16. So, in theory, that fourth line could be better. Move out VC, move out Saboka. We could see how Gergensons does. I think the big thing right now is move on from Okposo, get Reinhardt on the wing, and then maybe add to the bottom six. But I don't feel the need to change the middle six at all. So if we go back to the New York Islanders and look at a potential trade number 2 here, they have very little cap. Brock Nelson didn't fit the team. Neither did Anders Lee. Bailey would be for the top line. Brassard for the bottom six. Those would be the moves. Bailey, Brassard, and Martin? Yeah, because Clutterbuck doesn't fit the team. Bailey, Brassard, Martin, Ladd. And then for the Preds, Actually, how good is Bailey's point total here? He'd be the big piece. 28 points in 38 games is pretty good. Not amazing, but pretty good. And then Nashville with Duchesne has 34 points in 38 games, too. He's performing at a high level. Bonino doesn't fit the team like I'd want. But Craig Smith for the bottom 6 could be pretty nice. So we're looking at Duchesne and Smith. Or we're looking at Bailey, Brassard, Martin. I think I'd rather go for Duchesne. Because Bailey doesn't really take face-offs. It's got to be Nashville. We're going to go for Duchesne and Craig Smith. That is a lot of cap to be bringing in, but thankfully we can afford it, and we could try to get them to retain salary on Smith as well. So Dylan Cousins, as mentioned, is the big piece to use here. Our first-round pick this year has a decent amount of value. But no doubt, Dylan Cousins is the guy to use here. We apparently have too many skaters, so we have to add some scrubs. I mean, not that Saboka's a scrub and has been horrible this year, but I'm likely to have to try and send him down or make him a healthy scratch. Either Saboka's going to be a healthy scratch, or it's going to be Larson or VC. Interesting. Jimmy VC has that little bit of trade value. He also costs a bit. They have interest in Larson, though. But Larson's kind of the one guy whose point total on the fourth line I'm happy with. Then again, for that matter, they also have interest in Curtis Lazar and Vladimir Saboka. So maybe we use Saboka. And maybe we use Curtis Lazar. No, it'd actually be over the cap there, so Saboka isn't enough. What if I get them to retain 50% on Craig Smith? And really bump it up. His deal's up at the end of the year. It'd still be over. Wow. So we want to use Saboka here to free up cap. No doubt about that. And then I think we also want to look... I mean, if we could move Kyle Okposo in the deal, that'd be great. I don't want to break up the third line. I don't want to break up the middle six. The obvious move here is to flip Saboka. Or and Okposo, for that matter. Again, Okposo hasn't been bad. But I don't want to break up that third line. They've been solid. I don't want to put him on the fourth line. I mean, we could get him in the bottom six. If we keep him, that's a very expensive fourth liner, though. And then the fourth line would be Larson, Smith, Okposo, which would actually be pretty sick. Let me check what Jimmy Vesey's making. So again, like Frolik makes... God, there are some horrible contracts on this team. Say we had Jimmy Vesey. Say we even add Matt Hunwick, who makes way too much goddamn money. What's that looking like? Okay, so that would go through. Obviously, it's not. It went through. Okay, that's how valuable Dylan Cousins was. So we pull off that trade. The defense stays the same. Forward core, it's now Eichel, Duchesne, Reinhart, Johansson, Smith, Skinner, Cahoon, Okposo, Simmons, Frolik, Olofsson. I don't even know from here. Jesus. So Dylan Cousins is gone. That's what we've learned at the very least. So I think we're going to drop Kyle Okposo to the fourth line. Reinhart gets moved to the wing. Our new top line center becomes Matt Duchesne. And then also on the fourth line now is going to be Craig Smith. And that means Zemgus Girgensons gets screwed. But whatever, I don't care. It's pretty much what we're looking at. So some slight changes, but like I said, I have confidence in that middle six right now, right or wrong. And hopefully those options are still there just in case something goes wrong. But Matt Duchesne is going to be the top line center of this team. The only issue is that we've lost a bit of a big body as a power forward option. Like there's no one there to really play that role. Like Eichel's in that power forward role right now. Like it would have to be Sam Reinhart. But look at that. All three of them are perfect fits for that top line, which is absolutely ridiculous. So I think what we will do is change Reinhart over to a power forward. And Matt Duchene, lucky you get to be the sniper of the line. And then Mojo, which is weird that people call him Mojo because it's Marjo, but whatever. Marcus Johansson is good to go as a playmaker. And then the rest of the team basically stays the same except for the fourth line. We have Olofsson, we have Skinner and Eichel, we have Simmer, we have Cahoon, and we have Fleury. Just having to type this all down too, just to make sure we're good to go in case I best lines it. And then we'll have Okposo. The big change here. He's going to be a grinder now for the rest of the season. With Craig Smith, will also be a grinder. But the good thing is, if people are struggling, Okposo, Smith, even Larson, these are guys that can get called up if they're needed to really do some damage here. So it gives us a pretty good overall depth. I feel a little bit bad, though, about dropping Okposo the way that we have. It really does kind of suck, but hey, what are you going to do? So let's go over to edit players and see what we are dealing with. Go ahead and make these changes. Look, I got to make these changes anyway. You can sit here with me and make these changes, right? Right. So the big news here, Sam Reinhart, no longer our top line center, but he is going to be a top line left wing playing in a completely different role than he was playing in, but he wasn't that great of a sniper anyway. He was more of a playmaker. But now he'll be a power forward. Eichel's good. Matt Duchene, brought on, ridiculous contract, by the way, as if we didn't have crazy contracts on this team to begin with. We just added another one. Matt Duchene, now here in Buffalo, because the Preds said, all right, 3 months of this, that is more than enough, good sir. And obviously Gergensons is fine. We're going to move Larson over to the wing just to make sure we get the most chemistry possible. Keep forgetting Johan Larsson was drafted by Minnesota. That's just like, when the hell did that even happen? That's a genuine question. To Hockey DB we go. And we will search Johan Larsson. Johan Larsson, who was traded to Buffalo. Draft rights traded from Washington for Eric Belanger, and then traded alongside Matt Hackett. And a pick that became Nikita Zadorov, and a pick that became some dude for Pominville. That's right, it was the Pominville trade. Jesus. Good old Pominville. What a guy. Matt Hackett. I cannot see that name without horrible thoughts, because Matt Hackett was stretchered off in a game against the Boston Bruins at TD Garden. I was there. It was horrifying. It's a hell of a thing. Are we glitched? We might be glitched. It's a hell of a thing to witness a player being stretchered off the ice in person. It's a hell of a thing. Yeah, that was not great. There we go. Okay, I had to unplug the controller for a second. All right, Okposo gets to be a grinder. So yeah, there you go. There's our Matt Hackett fact. Matt Hackett, who I don't think plays anymore, even though he's only 30. He played in the EIHL in 2018-19. He was not good. I don't know much about the EIHL, but I'm going to presume an .893 save percentage in that league is not good. And if that's an incorrect presumption, then to the fans of any team, or just general fans, hey, sorry for doubting your league. Maybe that is good. Maybe Matt Hackett was the best goalie in the EIHL. I'm totally not checking right now. I would never, ever be checking whether or not that's a good save percentage for goalies in the EIHL while we sit here and do this. Fun fact, Hockey DB wasn't updated. He played 5 games in Norway in 2019-20. You want to know his save percentage in Norway? Of course you do. It was an .868. Oh, Matt Hackett. What happened? What happened? And for the record, the 2018-19 EIHL season, if we're talking for goaltenders, there were 11 goaltenders out of 17 who played more than 10 games that had a .900 save percentage. So he was 15th amongst goalies with a .900. The top played 13 games. He had a .932. The top goalie in that league, Travis Beskorowany of the Belfast Giants, former Stars pick, who never did anything. But he had a good potential in like NHL 12 and NHL 11. So, fun fact. There you go. My Pierre Maguire moment is done. You're welcome. So, looking at this team now, that's not my team. So it is Reinhart. It is, where the fuck is Olofsson? It scratched Olofsson for Gergensons. Really? Why would you do the things that you do, video game? And then Gergensons can take a seat for Johan Larsson, who will be with Craig Smith and Kyle Okposo for a +3. Simmons will be with Cahoon and Frolik. Olofsson will be with Eichel. Bam! We keep that +5. Love to see it. Defense, of course, we have Dahlin and Risto here. It's Montour and McCabe, Chiller, and Yoki. We're good to go. So Marc-Andre, Fleury, Matt Duchene, and Colin Wilson are big additions to this team as of January 1st. We have about 2 months left in the regular season. We'll see what happens from this point on. Will these changes, despite making the team technically better, will it actually pay off and make the team better? Let's find out. I mean, 1-1 start, back-to-back 3-2 losses. Jesus, should I talk more about the EIHL? I feel like I should at this point. Good Lord. Good Lord, we are losing. San Jose fires their coach. Marc-Andre Fleury might not be the guy, potentially. I'm totally not going to look up Matt Hackett's stats from Norway. Not at all. Norway, you know, the league that Chris Rumble plays in now. So it's the best league on the planet. 24, 23, and 4. At this point in time, the Sabres currently sit at bare minimum, and indeed it is 7 points out of the playoff picture. Yikes. How has Matt Duchene done in Buffalo? 4 points in 10 games. Okay, how was Craig Smith done? 5 points in 10 games on the fourth line. Cool. So Reinhart, 41 points in 51 games. That's okay, but not great. Duchene, obviously, like his point total on the season, good. 38 points in 48 games, but he's struggled here. Johansson, decent point total, but the -7 concerns me. Olofsson's been solid. Eichel's been solid. Skinner, only 2 goals this month, I think. Jesus Christ, Jeff. I think the big question here has to be the goaltending. So Allmark has a .916. How is Flower done? Oh, my sweet Christ. Okay. So we know we're making one more trade, and we know it's going to involve Marc-Andre Fleury. Defensively, I have faith in Montour and McCabe. Famous last words. Risto and Dahlin are not a great pairing. If we could trade, I mean, I like Risto's point totals, but if we could get a great trade or a great deal for a second pairing defenseman with Dahlin, move Risto, move Fleury, trust whoever at goal or in goal, and just see what else we can do here. How's the third line looking? Simmons is great. Cahoon should hit 30. Frolik should hit 30 or at least get close. I have no issue whatsoever with any forward at this point other than Matt Duchene. Interesting. It's just that second pair with Risto, who I don't trust, and Marc-Andre Fleury already has to go. That has just been brutal. Does Josh Manson fit the bill? No. Is there an elite defenseman who has become available? Is there Urho Vakanainen? No. Is there Alex Pietrangelo? Would be great. Smith, Cam Atkinson, Gustav Nyquist. Atkinson might fit the top line. Does David Savard fit the second pairing? No. Dallas, nobody. Detroit, nobody. Nope. This might not be a buyer's market right now. There's a Weber, Petrie, neither of them really fit. Ekholm fits the top 4. Matthias Ekholm right now is my best option. But obviously, we're looking to pull off a blockbuster because this is the final deal that we can make. And we're going to be leaving a lot of value on the table. Damn. We might just have to go for a great defenseman that a team doesn't want to trade. That might be the move to make here. But we are staring down the barrel of potentially not making the playoffs because through 7 games, Marc-Andre Fleury has been absolutely horrific. So let's see. For defensemen here, we are going to look at anybody who is an 85 and up. I want high-end defensemen only. And we're going to see who has the best trade values. Jones, Dahlin, McAvoy, Yossi, Hedman, Riley, Carlson, Makar. Krug drops a little bit. So we're looking at someone like John Klingberg. Doesn't fit. Brent Burns. Doesn't fit. Yandel doesn't fit. Alex Pietrangelo is perfect. Petro is perfect. Werenski could be a good fit too. Let's try to get a full report there. But we know Alex Pietrangelo fits. Oliver Ekman-Larsson fits. Interesting. There are options. I'm going to give it a little bit of time to see if any of them become available over the next 2 weeks. And who knows? Maybe Flower becomes a little bit more trustworthy, but this 2 weeks where I'm giving the team a little bit more time, this could prove to be the nail in the coffin on our season if we continue to choke. Stephen Kampfer on waivers for the Bruins. Love him, but don't want him on this team right now. I mean, a couple wins, a couple losses, a couple big games here. Detroit and Columbus up next. Alex Pietrangelo has been traded. Well, it doesn't really affect us because I'm not worried about if he's on the block or not. We picked up a good bit of momentum there, though. We're right back in the hunt on 63 points. Right. How's Flower looking now? Because this is crazy in terms of one deal left. What's the right decision to make? Flower now up to a 907 over 13 games. That's tremendous. Only lost 1 game, and it wasn't even a regulation since we last checked. This team gets up to the deadline. And the reason for that is, again, we don't know for sure who we're going after, and it doesn't necessarily have to be somebody who's on the trade block. It can be whoever, because we have Versto to use, we have Fleury to use, and we have first-round picks to use to get this to go through. As Joe Thornton's been traded with a first-round pick to the Carolina Hurricanes. Jesus, I don't know if he's worth that, but, hey, do what you're going to do, be what you're going to be. Come on, we can make this. We can make it. I believe. I'm starting to lose some faith. Tatar and Sherratt to Dallas for 2 firsts. What's up with Thomas Tatar getting traded for first-round picks, huh? Good Lord. Good Lord. So we're on 67 points. We are 2 points out of the playoff picture as it stands. Let's see what we're dealing with here. So Sam Reinhart. I think we can trust you on the top line. 58 points in 62 games. Matt Duchene has woken up a bit, more than a bit. I think we can trust Duchene. We can trust Johansson as well. Olofsson's been solid on 42 points. Eichel's been incredible. Skinner's been great. He has like 4 goals in the past 2 months, though. Wayne Simmons has been great. Cahoon's been great. Frolik's been great. Fourth line is great. We have nothing to change there. Montour's been solid. McCabe's been solid. The only question is, do we try to find a better defense partner for Dahlin and potentially get a bit of chemistry going there by trading Rasmus Ristolainen? And then Marc-Andre Fleury, rocking a 901 since he's been here. I don't think, yeah, I think we make that move. Ristolainen's been fine, but now is the time to kind of make that move, use Flower, use Risto, and get someone who's a much better fit for that second line, or that second pairing, that can maybe even help boost up Dahlin a little bit. So obviously it's not going to be Soderstrom, it's not going to be Vakanainen or Wagner. Zach Smith, Dubinsky. And again, I won't be afraid to trade for someone who isn't on the block. It's just basically, can I save myself time by not having to tinker with it? Again, we can get somebody better than Ekholm from the looks of it. And we're going to have to. O'Reilly, Shen. If only, well, not that we even really need O'Reilly. He hasn't fit. I was going to say, if only Pietrangelo was still there, but hey, it wouldn't have mattered anyway. Yep, we're going to have to make a move here for someone who isn't on their team's trade block, which means we do have to be a little bit careful about how much value we're looking for, because players' values skyrocket when teams don't want to trade them. So we will look at defensemen, please. Top 2 defensemen. Who do we got? 19 players identified as top 2 defensemen. Giordano and Suter down there. So it's Pietrangelo, who fits. Yandel doesn't fit. It's Pietrangelo or Letang, from what I can tell. Or Ivan Provorov, but I think he's going to be that much more expensive. Heiskanen, Morgan Riley. Riley's been pretty damn good this year too. So the thought is, do we necessarily want Rasmus Dahlin as a two-way? If we have him as a defensive defenseman with someone who can put up points, Chris Letang, how well will that suit the team? Provorov, though, offensively has developed quite well. And then Morgan Riley, honestly, has the best point total of the bunch right now. But I think Riley's going to be a bit too valuable. You can see that Letang is even a step down from Provorov. I think it's Letang or Pietrangelo. I'm going to go for Chris Letang. We're going to see if we can pull off this deal. Injuries aren't on for this, so we wouldn't have that to worry about. And we might be sending Marc-Andre Fleury back to Pittsburgh, although his value is not what I had hoped. Ristolainen's is, though. So they would be over the cap with this deal. I don't know by how much. Is there anybody I can add to this deal and then just like immediately put through waivers? Let's see. Who do you got? Brian Dumoulin, Nick Bjorkstad, Tanev, Jack Johnson. I will take on Jack Johnson. I'll do it. I will take on Jack Johnson. Will this go? No, it won't. I was going to say, will it go through? No, it won't, because the values don't work now. This does mean that... Wow, Middlestad's value really dropped. It's up to a 79, though. But Casey's just not going to have a spot on this team. Obviously, if this was more than a one-year challenge, Middlestad would be an amazing fit. But it's not going to happen here. So we'll pop in Middlestad to this deal. In real life, even I would like burn down the Sabres stadium if they did this. Fleury, Risto, Middlestad, and 2 firsts for Chris Letang and Jack Johnson. Will this go through? No. Ooh. What if we take out Flower? Now it'd be way over the cap. I might not be able to get this to go through. Letang might even have too good a value. That was pretty much the best shot that we could put forward, and it didn't go through. We'll try 3 first-round picks with Risto and Fleury. It's not going to go through for Letang. He's too valuable. We are going to have to look at Alex Pietrangelo. And if that doesn't work, then I don't know. It's going to be Gio or Suter. So we'll see if we can work out a deal here. I have no faith in Fleury. Linus Allmark's going to be our guy. And like I said, Ristolainen is going to go for the sake of trying to get better chemistry on that second pairing. It's not that Risto's necessarily been poor, but you get the point. And for the hell of it, we'll take on Mikko Koskinen in the deal. Edmonton will be over salary next year. Well, what the hell do you want from me? Jesus, it's not my fault Edmonton can't manage the goddamn cap. What are you doing? Who's the problem child for next year? Holy shit. Apparently they also at some point acquired Scandella. The fuck are you thinking, Edmonton? Oh, wow. Okay, so Edmonton's totally screwed cap-wise. Which means despite the fact that we have value, I think I'm screwed. I can take the risk on Ryan Suter to see if he's the good fit for that second pairing. And this is a risk. But he probably won't be that much worse of a fit than Risto was. So technically, we're going to lose out on value here big time. If I go through with it as it is. Which is why I'm just tempted to see... Wow, Kalen Addison. Holy shit, he's up to an 81 here. Which is why I'm tempted to see if there's someone who fits like the majority of our lines. Unfortunately, that does not exist. You know, I think I'm just going to keep Risto and Fleury. I don't see what move I could make for our third deal. So this team is set. We're going to go through with it as is, and we are going to hope for the best that this team can win hockey games. I don't know if they can, but we're going to find out. We're going to trust it as is. I think this is for the first time ever. It is the only episode of One and Done where we've only made 2 out of the 3 trades. But looking at the team, all I see is a move for the sake of a move, a lateral move that really doesn't improve the team by all that much as our only options. So why do it? Stick with what we have and just hope that it works. And as it stands right now, we're in a wild card spot. 10 games to go after that loss to Boston. So this could go in a variety of different ways here. Let's see what we have. 39, 28, and 6. Huge back-to-back wins there against Carolina. Let's see how we do. In a wild card spot, 3 games on the 3 points on the Red Wings to the game at hand, which is huge. We do lose to Florida, but the Red Wings also not taking advantage. They did just win there. Chicago, we win. Big win there. New York, we win. Montreal, another big game here. We win. 90 points now for the Sabres. We play the Islanders. We win. 8 of our last 10. Montreal, New York, and now Minnesota is what I was going to say. We lose to Minnesota. Montreal pretty much out of it as well is what I was going to say, as are the Hurricanes. We currently sit on 92 points. We're going to make the playoffs. The Buffalo Sabres, there it is, it's official, have made the playoffs. We trusted the team, and it worked out. Let's do it. Let's do it. We are playoff bound. The Sabres on a heater, on a tear, the back half of this season. We do finish in a wild card spot where we will be playing the Washington Capitals in round 1, which is a damn good thing. Get me over to that Metro side. Granted, all 3 teams that made it had 100 points, but it's just a murderer's row of talent. Get me over to that Metro Division side, and we'll see what we can do from there. So overall, pretty happy with the team and how this season has played out. You had Sam Reinhart on 78 points. Fantastic stuff from him. Matt Duchene, 38 points in 41 games compared to 34 and 38. So still a great season for Matt Duchene. And then Marcus Johansson as well, 77 points for him. Tremendous. Victor Olofsson did very, very well. 62 points in what's going to count as his rookie season. Jack Eichel, 88 points is incredible. And Jeff Skinner, I mean, he really slowed down the goal-scoring pace. But 77 points is still fantastic for him. Third line, Wayne Simmons, 39 points, fantastic. Dom Cahoon, 40 points, fan-frickin-tastic. And 29 for Frolik is solid, but not amazing. On the fourth line, Okposo, 44 points, tremendous. Craig Smith was fantastic. And Larson hit that 20-point threshold. I always look for fourth liners to hit. 21 points. So only a slightly worse pace here than what he had in Nashville, despite being on the fourth line. His team's looking good. And then defensively, Montour, 47 points and a plus 18. 20 points and a plus 21 for McCabe. You have Risto, 33 points and a plus 19. 36 points for Dahlin and a plus 13. Colin Miller, 33 points. And the 10 points plus 7 for Jokiharju. I'm fine with this. Linus Ullmark, a 9-18 on the season. Marc-Andre Fleury, a 9-10 in 34 games. I think Flower gets the chance to start, but it is a relatively short leash if Linus Ullmark, decided that... if Linus Ullmark decides to be the guy, he decided to be strong in the regular season, so if Fleury decides to not be the guy, Linus Ullmark can step up. We play Washington, the 51-win Caps. Let's see how it goes at this point. So it's Ovi, Kuznetsov, Kovalchuk, Varana, Backstrom, Panik, Wilson, Eller, Oshie, Hagelin, Dowd, Hathaway. Defense is Orloff, Carlson, Dillon, Kempney, Jensen, and Gudis. Goaltender is going to be Holtby. Samsonov waiting there in the wings. Boyd, Sprong, Siegenthaler as the healthy scratches. So, we're up to champion status. Anything could happen here at this point. 90 offense to 92. So they have us, slightly topped the offensive and defensive categories, but it's close. We're not dwarfed, which is fantastic, like we would have been at the start of the season. Let's get this underway. No lineup changes. This team got us here. Let's see what they can do. First period of game 1, and that was the worst possible scenario. Shit. All right, well, Kuznetsov, Kovalchuk, Dillon. We're down 3-0. Second period, make it 4-1. Oshie made it 4. Johansson gets one back against his former team. Quick sim of the third period. We get another goal. It's too late. Matt Duchene. So it's a 4-2 win there for the Caps off the back of a tremendous start in the first period. Not ideal whatsoever. Yikes. We go to game 2. We lose this one. Linus Ullmark takes over. And obviously, too, we look for a little bit better goal scoring on Holtby. First period, scoreless. Second period, not scoreless. 2 goals for the Caps, Varana and Panik. Eichel gets one back. Quick sim of the third, and the Capitals are going to win this one. 3 goals, Ovi, Orloff and Ovi. Duchene and Dahlin score, but it's too little too late. The Caps take both games at home to start this series. And Marc-Andre Fleury, I don't know why I banked on him being successful in the playoffs, but hey, it was worth a shot to get a higher rated goalie for once, even though we know that often isn't for the best. Fleury with a 764. That might be the worst stat line I have ever seen. I can put up better numbers in an ASHL drop-in game with a literal deer on the sticks in front of me. Linus Ullmark on the flip side has a 972. Well, if we lose here in the first round, you can blame my decision to give Fleury a chance, and you know what? You might not be wrong. Linus Ullmark gets the opportunity here. Let's see what he can do. First period, much better start for the Sabres. Gudis scores early, a hat trick for Marcus Johansson in 4 minutes and 3 seconds, including a goal from the opposite blue line with 16 seconds to go. Second period, the Caps get one back. It's Lars Eller. Third period, good God, I thought we lost, but we hold on to win. Risto and Dahlin, Eichel and McCabe, Hagelin with 2 power play goals on the same effort, I'm presuming, but it's a 7-4 win for your Sabres. Strong effort there from Marcus Johansson and Sam Reinhart. And we are back in this series as a result. Linus Ullmark wasn't exactly fantastic, but the team certainly seemed to play better in front of him. So we'll see what happens here. Ullmark will get the start yet again. And we'll see how this goes. It is game 4. Let's see what we can do. First period, damn good start for the Sabres. Reinhart on the power play. Skinner and Duchesne. It's up. It's a nice little 3-0. We're up 3-0. How long will that last? Second period, not for long. Eller makes it 3-1. Reinhart makes it 4-1. Kempny gets one back. It's a 4-2. Third period, and the Sabres hold on by the score of 4-2 to win and tie this series up at 2 games apiece. Great game for Reinhart again. Skinner was great, and Ullmark a solid effort as well. And as a result, here we are, outscoring them 11-6 over 2 games. So again, defense and goaltending still hasn't exactly been our forte. Yet we are back in this series. Hey, beggars can't be choosers. Let's just hope that the team makes the most of it. Ullmark on a 925. Back-to-back wins. He'll get another chance here, although about time he gets lit up. Maybe we might see Marc-Andre Fleury again. Who's to say? We go to game 5. Home team is yet to lose. We need that trend to end here. First period. Well, so much for that. Vrana and Skinner, and then 3 unanswered goals for the Caps. Kuznetsov, Ovechkin, and Wilson. Second period gets worse. Now 5-1 thanks to Kuznetsov. And third period, final score is 5-2. Rasmus Ristolainen scores, and the Capitals are just 1 win away from moving on to the second round. Our backs now thoroughly against the wall here. And in terms of the lineup, I mean, we haven't really taken a look. We've tried to trust this team as it's been. Reinhart's been solid. Top line's been great. Victor Olofsson has done fuck all, and that third line has been shit. All right. How are we going to do this? Because that third line has been garbage. Olofsson's been garbage. Right. I think it might be as simple as doing... Well, we got to break up that third line. So we know we're going to move up Smith. We know we're going to move up Okposo. And is there any way to avoid that negative? There we go. So it'll be Okposo, Eichel, Skinner, Simmons, Smith, Larson, Olofsson, Cahoon, Frolik. And the defense, I mean, wow, Risto and Dahlin have sucked. Not that anyone's been great. We'll just have them switch sides because we can't really afford to lose those +5s. Marc-Andre Fleury gets the start. Unfortunately, this team is falling apart in a lot of ways where it's just like, okay, I could sit here and change up so many things about, you know, chemistry, player types. At this point, just, hey, if you're going to lose it, then go ahead and lose it. Save us time. First period, we score first. Johan Larsson with the goal. Second period, that helps. Skinner and Olofsson. Put him on the fourth line and he scores. Jesus. Jensen gets one back. Third period, and the Buffalo Sabres have forced Game 7. Frolik and Montour, shorthanded empty netter to cap it off after Vrana scored. So 5-2 final in Game 6. Victor Olofsson, have yourself a day. The second we drop you down to the fourth line. What the hell? What the hell? It's Game 7. It is Game 7. Let's do this. I mean, Fleury got the win. Oh, boy. Here we go. First period. And there we go. Good start. Jeff Skinner gets the opening goal. Second period. 2 goals. 1 for each. Reinhart and Backstrom We have the 2-1 lead right now thanks to Sam Reinhart. Will it hold on? That is the question. It won't. Tom Wilson scores on the power play. We're tied at 2. Matt Duchene gets it back. Now 3-2. Power play for the Caps is killed off. Richard Panik ties it. 5 minutes to go. Who is going to the second round? The answer will be discovered in overtime. Eichel or Ovi. That's my guess. It's Eichel or Ovi. It has to be. It's going to be a big name who wins this one. Let's see what happens here. Who is going to round 2? It's the Capitals. Lars Eller seals the deals. We lose in 7 to the Caps. We cannot pull a Carolina from last season. And one and done for the Sabres ends in a first round effort, which I think most Sabres fans would gladly take. But in this instance, not being a Sabres fan either, in this instance, I cannot help but be extremely disappointed because damn, that absolutely sucks. Jeff Skinner was great. I mean, it's easy to point out, like, Victor Olofsson let us down. Okposo didn't do much. Wayne Simmons was abysmal for us. Defensively, I mean, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't great. It just comes down to extremely subpar goaltending from both. You're not going to win with goaltending like that from either of them. Them's the breaks. We fall in 7 to the Caps, and this journey continues. I still feel like this team could have gone further, though. That really sucks.